Oh, it worked this week.
The
countdown said it worked this week.
Yeah, this week it worked. Last week, not so much. I'm sorry I'm eating, y'all. I did not have anything to eat for lunch. And I got this whack bar until I get to dinner after this. So bear with me. What up, y'all?
What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good?
As always, please make sure you're following us on all social media platforms. Chantee does not know this, but I'm telling her right here on the spot, we hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. Hey, we got 100 subscribers.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. At episode 100 coming up, we're gonna have to do something special for for the 100th episode.
Oh man, that's gonna be a doozy. So,
yeah.
Wow, can't believe we're here.
100. Not laughing like that.
Ooh. It's taken a lot to get here, y'all.
It has.
A lot of time, energy, but we happy to be here. We happy to be doing this. And we happy that y'all been rocking with us.
Thank y'all.
So thank y'all. We remember when we first started, ain't nobody was watching.
Talk about it.
No one. No one. Okay, but we don't care.
That's not what we hear. So
exactly. We're not here.
What up, Spin Dot?
Spin Dot. Shout out to Hoopers Academy.
Shout out to Hoopers Academy. I don't got my sweater on today, but make sure y'all tap in with Spin Doc to get you one. Go support.
Facts. But welcome, y'all. Welcome. On I don't know what to call this Sunday. It started out nice and then got real dreary.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was a little muggy. I just went food shopping. So hooray for me getting that done for the week. Okay. I'm hyped about that. I have a busy week this week. Okay. It's like appointments, doctor's appointments. I conclude the final session of my little chef program. We lit. So I get to see the 3rd and 4th graders in East Orange, New Jersey on Thursday.
Nice.
What else? Jackie Knowles got his showcase this weekend, so I'll probably be hitting that. 21 Titles was in the building yesterday for the Achievers Career Networking Day. So we'll talk about that in culture.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about that. That was a great time.
Good.
But yeah, y'all, thank y'all for tapping in with us. Another Sunday to conquer. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but y'all here with us. So thank y'all for y'all attention. We truly appreciate it. I guess let's get into it. My name is Brittany, aka Wellness Brit, and this is my lovely co-host,
Chantee.
And together we make up 21 Titles. We're really here for the elevation of the student athlete, essentially. We're dedicated to pushing the personal and professional development of the student athlete, and together, as business professionals, Chantee is an IP attorney. I am an entrepreneur, holistic health professional, and just overall consultant, if you want to say. So together we come here on Sundays to kind of discuss the weekly happenings and topics and conversations and like things that we feel are important. So again, Chantee is an IP attorney, so NIL and what that means, name, image, and likeness, is extremely important to us because we were former student athletes. I mean, we're still athletes, but we're no longer in the competitive realm, if you want to say, or highly competitive. I'm still competitive, okay?
Yeah, naturally.
Don't get it twisted. We still very competitive, but not playing at the high, like elite level that we once sustained over long periods of time. Okay, but we still champion the ones that do, the women that do. And we come here on Sundays and talk about that. So women's sports, we're going to be talking and discussing the WNBA and recapping the games of the weekend. We also talk NIL and the deals that happened, because back in 2021, they passed legislation. We're going to be talking about the other legislation that just recently got passed. But kids can now make money off of their names. And that's something that we wish we had the opportunity to do, but we missed that boat. So now we report on it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And then because we're blockchain baddies, we also talk about technology. And then just because we love our people, we talk about culture. Okay. So thank y'all for coming.
This is such a great start to the episode, because Mr. S.C. Brett, we was wondering where you was at.
Yeah, where you was at, man. We so happy you came back.
Glad you still, you're recovering. You're doing well. Thank you for tapping in with us for another weekend. Y'all definitely gonna hear sirens and all that today, because I am in New York for the weekend. So I'm letting y'all know now. Wait, yeah, we gonna get to that too, Spin Doc.
Spin Doc, yeah. Did you watch the women's college World Series?
Yeah,
it was elite. I guess I should talk about that too, because I had a chance to watch.
I missed it.
Yeah, but it
was. Shouts to Texas.
It shouts to Texas. Hook 'em.
Yeah.
Hook 'em. That's what they be saying. They be like, hook 'em. They look here. Texas was tough, but the entire series was tough. Texas Tech versus Texas, so we're gonna get into that too.
I guess we can hop into WNBA games. As a disclaimer, I caught some of these games on replay, and not even at their full capacities. I was traveling, so yeah. So I guess we're gonna recap some of the games on Friday. We had the Dream versus the Sun. The Sun walked away with the win, 84-76. Brittany Griner, she ended with 18 points and 6 rebounds. Who else had high over there? Ryan Howard. I saw your tweet coming at Ryan. I mean,
which one?
I don't know. It was something like, let me go look. Something about Ryan though.
Yeah, and, it was. Come on,
to step up or something. I think it was. It started with, I know y'all. I may get some heat for this.
Yes.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna pull it up, but yeah.
Yeah. So let me just expound on what Chantee is saying. I am a very big fan of Ryan Howard. There's no question about that, okay? My dad is one of my dad's favorite players, okay? But as of late, I feel like she's been underperforming. I don't know if it's physically, I don't know, because she put that RoboCop brace back on. So that makes me say, something may have happened. She tweaked something. Maybe that's preventative cautions she's doing, okay? I don't know. But I feel like since she's gotten help, she's been deferring. I understand you got BG. I understand you got Alicia Gray. I understand you got um Brianna Jones. But Ryan Howard, the Atlanta Dream move and shake based on the pace on how you move and shake. She is the one. It's her. Okay? And I know that she's taken on a much tougher defensive role because she said that. She's saying that I wanted to get better on the defensive end and show that I can be a two-way player. You're absolutely a two-way player, Ryan Howard. Absolutely. But I need you to have the killer instinct on the offensive end as well. Like, I don't know what it is. It just seems like she's going through the motions. It seemed like she's going through the motions, okay? She's shooting like 27% from the three-point, 34% from the field. She can do better. I feel like she can shoot 40%, like at least 40 to 45% from the field and a high 30s, like low 40s from the three-point line. Like, she has to show that she's the leader of the team. Like, the offense, yes, you got the BG and Brianna Jones down there, but their posts don't dictate like where the ball goes. They just get the ball and do what they can. Like, she's shifty. She could take you off the dribble. She's an elite three-level scorer, man. So that was the premise of the tweet. Just saying, I need her to turn it up a notch and stop deferring to everybody else on the team. Like Alicia Gray, she's playing phenomenal. Phenomenal. Okay? We need to see Ryan Howard step up and play and complement the play of Alicia Gray. Like, come on. Let's get it popping.
Thank you for explaining that tweet. Because again, I ain't catch that game. But with that being said, on the side of Connecticut, Marina Mabry was hooping.
And you know how, look, I think they be reading the tweet. I think they
I
be
don't know,
reading that.
but Marina was hooping. She had 34 points. She shot 13 for 22 from the field, and you was dogging her with her field goal percentage. That's a lot better. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And she had 4 assists, 4 rebounds. That's a nice stat line for her. Tina Charles, she had 19 points. Who else? Bria Hartley, she had 11 points, 6 assists. Sanaya Rivers, 9 points. So yeah, again, I didn't catch this game, but again, Connecticut beat the Dream 84-76. Um, we also had the Sparks versus the Wings that same night. The Sparks walked away with the win 93-79. Paige still is out. She was out today as well.
Yeah, they said something about illness today.
Yeah, I saw that. And Erica Hamby, she had 20. I'm just looking at the stats again. 20. Rakia, everybody had a good game, a solid game for the Sparks. They shot 55% from the field. That's a great percentage. Huh?
Dallas is struggling.
No, they are. I mean, again, like I have not watched. Yeah, but the way I see people talking about Dallas on the timeline, along with a couple other teams, they missing Paige. But I don't even know if Paige would be like
the saving grace.
She's not going to be the saving grace of all the things that I've been seeing that people have been complaining about. So I'm gonna have to tap in. But yeah, they shot 42% from the floor. They shot 30% from the three. Dejanay Carrington had high at 16 points. And then right after it was JJ Quinnery. Shouts to JJ Quinnery. She had 14 points, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 rebounds, shot 5 for 10 from the field. That's a nice stat line as well. Um, so yeah, the Sparks. Again, they win 93-79. Saturday's games, Aces. Oh, baby.
They're
Again,
struggling.
I watched this on quick play. But they had 29 points in the third quarter. Definitely saw that on the quick play. I'm like, what's going on? Yo, they was getting smacked by 20. I'm like, I text Brittany, like, what's going on with the Aces? Like, what's happening? So yeah, they lost to the Valkyries 95-68. What I did see on the quick play was Kayla Thornton going off.
Yeah, she had a really good game.
She had a great game. She had 22 points, shot 8 for 16 from the field, and 4 for 8 from 3. She had a great game. 11 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ball in.
Yo.
So was Veronica Burton.
And I was
Veronica
about to
Burton
say, yes.
had a great game. She was
Yes.
diamond. She was diamond. I actually did go back and watch some of this game. Kate Martin had an exceptional game off the bench. 12 points, 7 rebounds. She shot 5 for 11 in 26 minutes. Monique Billings.
Mm-hmm. Had a big block yesterday, I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Against Asia
14 points, 11 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Shot 5 for 9 in 25 minutes. Like she another Swiss Army knife.
No, she is.
Monique Billings.
She gonna do what needs to get done. Whatever you need done, we need to make a list of Swiss Army knives and players that can play on both ends of the floor.
That's a fact. Two-way players.
Two-way players.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's gonna do what needs to be done for whatever team she plays on. But the Aces, yo, spend Doc. No win, walk away.
Yeah.
Spend Doc. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna be honest. Asia Wilson, she had 17 points. Shot 5 for 13 from the field. Had 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Jackie Young only had 4 points yesterday. Jewel Lloyd only had 5 points yesterday. Chelsea Gray had a good game, 16 points. And then Aaliyah Nye. That's not enough offense.
She was the only bright spot coming off the bench yesterday.
Yeah, that was it. Again, I didn't watch this full game. I need to go back and watch the full games that we're talking about, but offense is lacking for the Aces. I've seen people going back and talking about Jewel Lloyd. We discussed this a few episodes ago, just things that she has said about her experience at Seattle. And I think it's not even she alluded to those experiences hindering how she played while at Seattle, and I'm sure that has trickled into this season. We saw glimpses of old. I'm gonna say old, even though y'all know what I mean, but glimpses of old Jewel during Arrival. And I just think it's a confidence thing. I think the core of that is a confidence thing, and I'm hoping that she turns over a new leaf. Again, it's still very early in the season. So she has time, but the Aces, Mr. Gallo, Mr. SC Brett is correct. The Aces don't have a bench and they need more offense.
They do.
They need more offense. Like
he also said the Aces wasted a draft pick on Elizabeth Kidley.
I saw that.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I just think that she's coming off of an ACL tear, so you got to take that into consideration, right? She's coming off of, she tore her ACL in college, right? Going into the tournament. got drafted, been out for an entire year, and now we going back. I'm going back after ACL into my professional career. Pro. That's a big transition, especially off of an injury. So the transition still is going to be a little bit rocky. It's already rocky transition when you're not injured coming into the league as a rookie. So, mind you, she's coming off of a major injury and then getting hoisted. We already knew coming out of college, Kitley was going to have to deal with the physicality of the dub. Like we said that was going to be something that she had to adjust to when she got into the league.
Yes.
And we see that when she's playing. She's not comfortable because she's not as strong as she needs to be yet. But I feel like she can get there. She has to get more comfortable on the court and figure out where she can find her spots. Because it's not going to come from Kia Stokes. Kia Stokes is not going to give them offense. They have to develop the other people on the team. And I think that's where Liz Kitley comes into play. Develop Liz Kitley. Crystal Bradford is also she's a very high energy player. I remember watching her in Athletes Unlimited this past season. But she's not an offensive minded player. She's more defensive centered when you talk about it. So like I hope that Elizabeth Kitley finds her confidence and can blossom into something that they can use, essentially.
That they need.
Yeah, because she can definitely, I think she can fill that spot. She got it. And this is one thing, too. Student athletes out there, I'm going to drop it down. You want to get stronger? Work out after you play. We seen the footage and the video of Paige getting into the weight room right after the game, right? That's how you get stronger.
Kelsey Plum.
Right.
All of them. Jackie Young. Like,
yes. This is what you do in college after a bad game. What? But you should be doing this anyway. But it's really after a bad game. Yeah, I had a bad game. I got to get in the gym. You have to lift after you play to get stronger. This is what Michael Jordan was doing after he got his bum beat by the Detroit Pistons. I got to get stronger. They've been bopping me around. I got to get stronger. It's what him and his trainer did. You have to get stronger. Liz Kitley has to get stronger. Okay? Cause Aaliyah Nye, she gonna come off the bench. She gonna shoot. That girl gonna shoot.
She's gonna go.
She gonna shoot.
But one thing she ain't gonna do is play defense. I mean that with all due respect.
You know,
and I watched it on a quick play. I'm like, damn, how many times she gonna get backdoored? How many times?
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna keep it a bean. Shooters sometimes. Look, we just had to shoot the ball. That's what we had, shoot the ball. But in order for her to keep a job, she's gonna have to also play some defense.
Mm-hmm. Okay? No
Mm-hmm.
shade.
Mm-hmm.
Spendoc, you're absolutely correct. I did love Thornton on the Liberty. She looks good though. She looks great, stepping up for the team.
Yes.
Looking like a little leader out there. I'm gonna be honest. I like seeing her out there. So she had a great game, and we'll see how the Aces continue to progress throughout the season. Again, it's still very, very early. But we'll see what happens. The Sky and the Fever, Indiana, they win 79-52. Saw a lot of conversations on the timeline about this game as well. Didn't catch this. Some of the things I saw was people talking about, I guess, the lack of fluidity and just, I guess, the offensive plays that coach is calling, and I guess how he's utilizing or underutilizing the players on the team. I guess I want to start with Indiana because Kelsey Mitchell was real shifty out there as per usual, but she was doing the damn thing yesterday. She had 17 points, shot 5 for 11 from the field. Um, Natasha Howard's been stepping up, man. She's been having a good season thus far. Um, and I could have swore that before the season she was like she's gunning for the MVP or something like that for the
Oh,
season.
really?
I feel like she said something to that sort. Like sounded like she had a chip on her shoulder, and she's been showing up for Indiana. She had 13 points yesterday, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks, shot 6 for 10 from the field. But Ari McDonald, I will say, was looking like a little floor a floor general yesterday in
No.
in the uh in the highlights I saw. She had a good game yesterday. She had 12 points, shot 4 for 8 from the field. She had 3 steals, 1 block, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Um, she looked good out there yesterday. Aaliyah Boston had 11 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. I keep saying this. I mean, we've talked about Aaliyah Boston, but Aaliyah Boston looked good. She
Yeah.
looks great. I mean, her footwork has always been what it's been. The passing out from the post has always been what it's been, but she looks good.
I
She
mean,
looks great.
what is she averaging, a double double right now? Like is she looks really really good.
She does. She does.
I'm gonna say Ari McDonald too. Y'all better stop playing with her. Stop playing with her name. Like she got cut from the Sparks because I mean they star studded over there.
Mm-hmm.
But that young lady is a point guard in the dub. Like she belongs in the W.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like before she got there, Indiana has been losing.
Yep.
Okay. Because Caitlin's been out with
Yes.
her quad strain, sitting and housing and managing that. But Ari McDonald, I feel like Ari McDonald and Odyssey Sims are on the same boat. Like
Yeah.
y'all be playing with these two young ladies, and I don't know why. Like Odyssey Sims is a proven like point guard. Like if I was crafting a team, I'd want her as my starting point guard. Like the Sparks, yes, y'all got a real, y'all got a real point guard. They be playing with that young lady, and I'll be like, yo, that's why she played with a chip on her shoulder like that, cause I think she be feeling like y'all be disrespecting her, and I think so. But yeah, Ari McDonald, she came in and did what she needed to do.
She did.
Period.
It's just been announced that Courtney Vandersloot has official. She tore her ACL. Um, and her right. Yeah, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
watch that game, so I didn't see how she went down. But how old is Courtney
Bruh.
Vandersloot? I'm about to Google that.
She gotta be our age.
That's a tough injury.
Yeah.
That's a tough injury on the latter end of your career. It's a tough injury, period. But that's a big blow. That's a big blow. Uh, we
I
needing
told you
OGs on the
yesterday.
floor. I
I,
know. I didn't see
I
how she fell, but prayers
so
to Courtney Vandersloot, man. That's whack.
yeah, she was basically just kind of like driving on the left hand side towards the basket, and she was kind of like shielding the person off of her, like with her body, and you can just see her right leg plant. Like it just did a slight plant, and then as soon as she did a slight plant, you seen her grab for her knee. And I knew it at that moment. Like I've been watching so since November of 2024 when Nika Mule went down, I just been kind of consuming information about ACL tears, also Achilles tendon ruptures, and just watching footage on it, like just, and it's always almost the same thing. It just takes the right pivot, the right plant for it
And I
to,
was about to say that because Mr. SC Bread said it was non-contact, and I feel like that's
yes.
what when it happens, like
Mm-hmm.
it don't
Most
be much. Like it's the
90,
planting, like you said, it's the coming out.
yes.
I always
90
say it. That's how I taught.
90% of ACL tears are non-contact. People have
Yes.
to understand that. Like most of these tears are non-contact. It really is because of how the person plants or is positioned.
Mm-hmm.
Like the plant or the step.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all it takes. It don't
Mm-hmm.
take nothing else. And this is why it's so important to have these prevention and preventative protocols in place, because when you doing these exercises, this is what it's basically designed to do. Put you in those awkward plants and positions beforehand. Like you're that like this is I truly feel like for this to calm down, protocols have to be put in place. Seriously. Or we're gonna
There's been
just,
a crazy amount of
yes.
ACL tears
Like
within
it's
the
so
last few years.
Shantae, it's been so crazy because like when I told you we had this conversation back last year, I was like, Shantae, the data is just 2 to 8 times more likely is insane. Okay? First and foremost, when I looked at that, I'm like, but they've been saying this since like 91. 91.
Right. So I'm wondering out even outside of like the lack of protocols, what else is happening? If
Right.
there is anything else that's happening that is affecting
Right.
the bodies of
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say the women right now because we're talking about like what's affecting
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's a really unfortunate injury for Courtney Vandersloot. The Sky definitely need like a OG on the floor, like on the floor for their team. Um, and to not have that is, unfortunate. And prayers of Courtney Vandersloot, praying that you heal quickly. And to
Yeah.
Spendoc's comment, I just feel like they're not doing much to promote it. I mean, we see flashes and glimpses of them reminding us throughout games or before games that
Right.
this is a Commissioner's Cup game. Um, so I would agree that it feels like it's just not being highlighted enough. Um, I agree with you. I mean, that's all I got. Other than I agree, I don't think that they're putting enough effort in marketing the Commissioner's Cup, other than a flash of a screen, kind of explaining really broadly what it is and how a team wins and what they win, the incentives of the winning. So I agree. I agree.
Mm. Yeah. It's been lackluster, like the marketing around the Commissioner's Cup. Like when it last year was like very exciting, very
It
exciting.
was.
Like it just seemed as if the memo was make sure we promoting this like last year, and the memo this year is all right. Commissioner's Cup. It's like why don't y'all have the same energy? Like I don't understand.
It's inconsistent. But yeah, no, we agree. Swin Doc, we agree. Um, so yeah, and then the last game from yesterday's lineup was the Mercury and the Storm. The Storm win 89-77. Gabby Williams had a great game, 21 points. She shot 8 for 10 from the field in 35 minutes. Skylar Diggins, she had 26 points. And then on Phoenix, we had Satu Sabli. She had 22 points. And then Lexi held. After the game, we saw Satu Sabli call out Kathy Engelbert. She called it out and was like, yo, Kathy done doubled up the games to see. She increased the amount of games we play in comparison to last season. We have no time to rest. How did she do that? She literally said that's not a good decision.
Yep.
As a commissioner.
Yep.
She said, but we figured it out. Like, we figure it out. We ball. We do what we need to do anyway, but there's no time to rest. And again, you know, you want to increase games, but not increase nothing else.
Right.
Because it's all about profit. And so I like when the players speak out and put a name on that bullet.
Facts. We ain't ducking smoke. Like, first and foremost, like, come on, the scheduling again. Scheduling. Every time I think of scheduling, I think of how they curved us at the draft from asking that question. Because they knew we was coming with some heat. They knew it. They knew. Scheduling poor. Increase roster spots. Like, we over here begging for one more, 13. When it really should be 15. Like, the fact that they haven't increased roster spots ever in year 29, we're in year 29. It's time. Y'all better be pushing for the CBA. Y'all better be pushing for it.
No, I know. I have no doubt that they are. I don't have a doubt that they are. So, shouts to Satu Sabali for keeping it a buck in the presser,
right,
and calling it out. I love that. Keep doing that. I encourage more players to do it. So, moving on to today's games. Washington versus Connecticut. Washington wins 104-67. Washington looks great. They look good. That's it.
They do.
Hard stop. Washington looks great. They are balling. I like their lineups. I love their lineups.
Yeah, look, let me say this.
I love it.
Let me say this because y'all don't know what y'all be doing sometimes in these front offices. Okay? Y'all better keep Shakira Austin, Aaliyah Edwards, and Kiki Ariafen on this team. Y'all better keep them together, bro. And Sonia. Yes. Y'all better keep them together. Okay? Because that's working. All right? Shakira, Austin, and Aaliyah came off the bench today. 14 and 13, respectfully.
Yes.
Kiki.
Those three?
Kiki.
Those three, the bigs.
This is what I'm saying.
Well, that's a crazy, I'm going to be honest, that's a crazy triangle of bigs.
Yes, because
speaking from a previous big, that is a crazy lineup, bro. I'm going to be honest. You telling me I got to guard Kiki, who don't stop moving? She bounces around.
Yeah.
To Shakira, who mad aggressive and mad big. Like, what?
And then Aaliyah showed that she got the handle guard play.
Yeah, like, and they can play multiple, and that's another thing. They can play multiple positions.
Yeah.
So that is a crazy lineup.
And guard multiple positions, y'all see?
Yes. And Brittany Sykes
Yep.
Yo,
Yeah.
Brittany,
What I said?
Brittany.
What
I
I
see.
said?
I seen the highlights. I'm like, yo, Brittany Sykes, you out there,
What I said?
you cooking with grease, girl. You
Uh-huh.
cooking with grease, baby girl. You
Yep.
you looking good. Yeah, she finished with 28 points today.
Yeah. 6 of 12. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Give it to
And then
me,
you had
baby.
Lucy Olson comment. They gotta.
Yeah.
I like their
Jade
lineup.
Melbourne.
Look,
Yeah.
Suge look good too.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They have a side. I'm sorry. I like the Mystics. I like the players on the Mystics.
They're
I like
my
it.
dark horse. They're my
Yeah,
dark
no, they're
horse.
definitely a dark horse for the season. I agree with you there. I'm just very interested in Thank God.
Yo, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
they look good though.
Look
Um,
really good. And it's so crazy because I think they would even look better if Georgia ain't tear her ACL.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my God. That would be, that's scary.
it
That's
is
scary.
scary. It is.
Because
They
we
look
already
good.
heard the rumblings of Georgia saying that she don't look like a rookie.
Yeah,
And
nah.
she's not moving like that either.
Yeah, nah. They look good. And
Woo.
I'm excited to see them continue to develop as the season goes on. So after what I've seen today, I mean what we've been seeing from the Mystics,
Yeah.
I'm just very excited about that team. So
And then you see what I'm talking about with Marina, 6 for 15. Like
yeah,
I mean, that's not bad, but Marina would be 6 for 25. Like, would just chuck it up sometimes. And it's like, girl, I just need you to make better shot selections.
hmm,
Because you're an exceptional player, but sometimes your shot selections are terrible.
that's
Like,
okay.
she just needs more quality shots.
Hmm,
Because look, she had 7 rebounds, 8 assists.
hmm.
So yeah, Team Charles 7 for 17. She had 17 points, 9 rebounds. They just
That's
needed
cool.
somebody else to score today.
Correct.
JC Sheldon came off the bench, had 15 points in 24 minutes. She shot 6 for 8, hit 3 threes. So that kind of was their push off the bench. But
They
yeah,
need more though.
they
Like you
need
said, they
they
need more offense. So they go to sleep on defense too. That's another team.
yeah.
They go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they gotta pick it up. Uh, so yeah, that's just a really brief. Oh, we had one more game. The Lynx and the Wings. And the Lynx won 81-65. Again, Paige Beckers was out. Nafisia, she had 28 points, shot 10 for 19 from the field, had 10 rebounds. Um, Kayla McBride had a great game today. 21 points, shot 6 for 10 from the three.
Mm-hmm.
Shot 6 for 10 from the field.
K Mac is here.
Yeah. And those two carried. They
Yeah,
carried.
they sure did.
Carried for the Lynx. Um, on the other end, we had Arike. She had 26 points, but she shot 6 for 20.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Her, Marina, same category. Y'all both from Notre Dame, putting up crazy, crazy, crazy shots.
We
Y'all
know
got it.
we know that they're gonna shoot at a high clip. They're
Yeah,
gonna shoot at a high clip.
y'all gotta chill.
Um, Maddie Segrist, your girl, she had 15 points. But those two are the ones that carry for Dallas. So they too were lacking offense for this game. Offense is non-existent. So yeah, Minnesota wins 81-65.
Dejanay, you gotta step up.
Yeah,
She can't have 28 minutes and only score 6 points.
yeah, that's not enough.
That's unacceptable. Aisha Hines Allen also like 4 points in 17 minutes. And this other Gisel Sada, I don't know who that is, but you played 34 minutes and had 5 points. Mm-mm. 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 You gotta do something about
Need
that.
help on offense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Need help on but yeah, make sure that y'all tap in for these games. Again, it's the Commissioner's Cup going on, and to Spendoc's point, like there hasn't really been a push as it was last year. But make sure that you watch these games for viewership. The numbers are important. Um, but yeah, that's it for the games recap. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the Pacers and OKC game that happened last week. Yeah,
Mhm.
Halliburton. Now, the last four minutes of the game was crazy. The Pacers was down like 5 or 3 with 4 or 3 minutes left, or something to
They
that
were down.
effect.
They were down 6 with 3 minutes and 24 seconds left.
Yeah, they kept cutting it. They cut it. I can't even remember now, but how I broke it down the other day, I was just thinking about just the transition from points, and the Pacers just wanted it more, bro. That's it. They willed
Absolutely.
themselves to win. That's it. And that's a nasty loss. That's a disgusting loss
Mm-hmm.
for OKC. That's all I got. Clutch shot by Halliburton. Um, yeah, what the hell? Yeah, that's what everybody been saying.
What the hell? Yep. And
Yeah.
if y'all do not know, which is a crazy fact, Tyrese Halliburton and I share a birthday.
He's a
This
tweak
is
though.
this is why he's special. Okay.
Oh my gosh. This is why he's special.
This
Oh
is
my
why
god.
he's special. He's born on a leap year, baby.
No, he did. Listen, I think he ended with like 14 or something. He ain't. But that shot.
Yeah,
That's all
look,
I got.
he not scared of the moment. That's what.
Mm-mm.
But that's why you play basketball.
That
So that
is, and to shut everybody up because y'all was just saying he overrated.
right, right, right.
So that's what this is about. I'm gonna show y'all. I'm not even gonna talk about it. I'm gonna show y'all. So we got game 2 tonight. You have the Pacers shifted the momentum of the series by stealing game 1. We finna see. Yo, Deborah said, "Britt, please." Thought you had the tea. Yeah, you got people think you about to say something like crazy. You over here talking about he's special because y'all share the same birthday. Get out of here. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you.
Not Deborah calling me out.
Yo.
Oh, that gave me a really good gut laugh. Like that was a great belly laugh, Deborah. Thank you.
I wish I could pin that one. But nah, Spendoc, you right. That's a fact.
Yeah. You cannot be you are not comfortable with no leads until that buzzer says 0-0. Like it's this is why we only watch the NBA during the playoffs.
Right.
And this is it. Because during the season, the games are not happening like this. They're not coming down to the wire like this. Everybody's just it's up and down, shooting threes. We going back and forth. Nah. During the playoffs, because everybody's exhausted. You're late. This is a series. Do you know how hard it is to beat a team 4 times? A team 4 times. Like we just keep like just imagine we already seen in the WNBA teams play 3 times already against each other 3 times in a row. It's hard to beat the same teams over and over and over. This is from watching and personal experience. How many times we played the same teams growing up, Chantee? How many battles? How many? Going to
Yeah,
war. Going to war.
and it
So
never gets easier. It gets harder.
never. It always gets harder. It's always the hardest when the chip is on the line. Like going to Rod Strickland and winning them big trophies. They need to bring Rod Strickland back.
They should. They should.
Yo, that Rod Strickland, Tiny Archibald. That tournament was one for the ages. Okay, I always wanted that trophy at the end of the summer. Let yo, cause you got bragging rights. It's bragging rights at the end of the summer. So, woo.
And New York versus New York is about to start too. I saw them marketing that, so I'm excited about that too.
Facts.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see how the game start at 8 tonight. So we'll be on, well, we'll go watch that after our live, but we'll see how the Pacers do tonight and how OKC responds after that loss.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on, we are going to talk a little bit about Coco. Shouts to Coco. She beat Sabalenka. Oh, you said Pacers in 7.
Oh,
I have no skin in the game.
Pacers in 7. That's interesting because I see a lot of OKC in 6.
Mm-hmm. I've seen OKC in 5, but
Mm.
obviously, so so yeah, I gotta try to buy a contract once I get back to Maryland.
Yeah,
But
Shantae's our only saving hope because I'm in New York and they already, yeah, I know.
it's restricted. So yeah, we gonna try it out. Um, but Coco beat Sabalenka yesterday. For the French Open, in
Yes,
the French
good.
Open. Um, shouts to Lauren because I saw her tweet that Sabalenka like she a crash out. Yo,
Always been.
Sabalenka is yeah, she right. Lauren's correct. She's always a crash out.
Mhm.
Super emotional. There's been times in which we've seen her battle Coco, I think in the US Open and some other places, and she'll be blacking on herself in her language. Um
Mhm.
she'll be yelling and probably cursing out her coaches.
Yeah.
Hitting the tennis rack on the floor. Like she's a crash out, but she's super competitive and that she just wants to win. Um she wants to win. But yesterday she fell short. But I figured we start with some history of just the French Open because I saw a lot of people talking about the name Roland Garros,
Yes.
and that's known as the French Open. And it's one of the 4 major tennis tournaments commonly known as Grand Slam. So there's 4, like I said. We got the Australian Open, the French Open, Wimbledon, Wimbledon, excuse me, and the US Open, and it's held annually in Paris, France. The tournament is unique as it is the only Grand Slam event played on clay courts, which creates a slower pace and higher bounce, leading to longer rallies and a physically demanding experience for players. So going in, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be harder to play there in comparison to anywhere else. The venue and tournament are named after the French aviator Roland Garros, and it was founded in 1891. And like I mentioned, Coco and Sabalenka, that they're were ranked number 1 and number 2 in the world. And Coco got her first title at the French Open, and this is her second Grand Slam. And the two players battled over 3 sets. After Sabalenka won the first set, 7-6, Coco stormed back to dominate the second set, 6-2, before outlasting Sabalenka 6-4. Um, it was very windy yesterday. We saw Sabalenka kind of throwing shade or using that as an excuse. Rather, I don't want to hear that because at that point you lost. Like you knew going in what it was. Y'all both had to deal with the conditions, like the weather conditions. So you have to adjust. So I don't want to hear anything about the fact that it was windy. And Again, we saw Sabalenka in the press conference basically said had she like basically Coco she was like Coco ain't do nothing crazy. Like had I played better, I could have beat Coco. Um and to her point, she had 70 unforced errors yesterday and 6 double faults. So
Well, you should have played better, girl. I mean,
period. You should have showed up and you should have won. And
right.
Coco responded and
Oh,
she giggled a little bit. And that's hate. Listen, Sabalenka, that's hate.
that is hate.
You gotta lose with some grace. But she always do that. Like even on podiums when she comes second,
Yeah.
like she stopped herself from going like continuing to speak while on the podium yesterday after the loss. Before Coco went up there and said her speech. She was about to go into some of the reasons as to why she came up short and then she just stopped herself.
Yeah, good job. Good job for stopping yourself. But you know, Coco handled herself like she needed to. Coco's a Pisces, so she gonna throw
Shade.
shade. Yeah, like I actually wanted Aisha Swiatek because you were actually playing really really good well before today's match. Yeah, okay, girl. To be quite honest, Sabalenka, yeah, go get your stuff together because 70 unforced errors is abominable. That's diabolical. Diabolical. I didn't even know you can get that many. To be quite honest, because just Coco's match before that, when she played against Madison Keys in the semifinals, that was a terrible match. Ugliest tennis match I've ever watched. Ever. On both sides. Coco and Madison Keys. And Madison Keys had 30 plus unforced errors that game. And that was ugly. So Sabalenka, you lucky I wasn't able to watch the game like for real, for real. I was driving that day because I had something to do. That's ugly.
Yeah.
Get
And
it together.
again, Sabalenka is a tough. She's
She
tough to go
sure
against.
is.
She's
Sure
strong as
is.
hell. She's a true competitor, and she has won 3 Grand Slams. So that's no shade to her because the girl she is like that. Um, but back to Coco. She's the first American to win the French Open over a decade, and the last one to win it, of course, was Serena Williams. So we like what's happening for Coco. The trajectory of her career. I saw a lot of people just comparing, Serena Williams, what she did, I guess around the same time in which Coco's doing it. And there's Sven Doc, man.
I'll be linking. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's exciting to see. And so, she talked about, I know before the game, she said she was a little nervous. Um, she quoted Tyler the Creator
Mm-hmm.
in her speech. I'm just it's Coco. We're happy for her. Like
It's up for Coco.
big dog,
It's
big dog.
It's up. I was screaming in my car, okay? Like yelling in my car. As
Hmm.
if I was in France. As if I was there.
Spike Lee was there.
Right.
Listen, the support is there.
She came through. Okay?
No, she did.
She
So
came
this is
through.
a really big deal.
It's
Big
the
win.
the second of many more we hope to see.
Hmm.
Okay. Serena finished with 23.
Which is insane.
It
I want
is.
to insane.
It is.
That
That's
is
just
hard to do.
first and foremost, again,
That's singles,
we're talking about singles and we're talking about majors though. Those are
right?
majors.
Majors.
We're not talking about all the side tournaments like the
No.
Madrid Open and like the Beijing Open and all the other side
Grand
joints.
slams.
Yes, we're talking about grand slams that she has won. 23. I want to see how many other side tournaments she's won, because they don't even talk about that like that's
No,
nothing. That's
right.
yo, what are you talking about? Those are still prestigious, prestigious tournaments. Like
Yeah, no.
they're not considered the Grand Slam events, but there's still big side tournaments that they don't even mention. Like that's what I thought. That's when I knew I didn't know tennis,
Mm-hmm.
because I just thought that it was just those four majors. I just thought it
Yeah.
was the four majors, and then I see in, oh no, they play in Spain, they playing in China, they playing in Miami. There's an Open in Miami that they do every year, and I'm like, this is a little more expansive than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
23 is insane.
yeah.
That is insane. So shouts to Coco. Definitely looking forward to seeing what she does next. Um, moving on, Mike Beasley, like Lance Stevenson. I haven't been able to go rewatch the game. I want to, and I never heard of the next chapter. Shouts to the next chapter. That's a group that created. There's a group that created this tournament where we see not just Lance and Mike Beasley play, but a bunch of like just players, previous players that's hooping for bread. And I think that it just brings back it restores the feeling. Like everybody was excited to see these matchups. Everybody was extremely excited to see Lance and Mike Beasley. Not to mention, we saw clips of what Mike Beasley was saying to Lance days before the game. So, um, I had Mike Beasley winning.
I don't know who thought that this was going to be a serious matchup. Mike Beasley's about 5 inches taller than Lance Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was, yeah. I've been over here trying to figure out who should have been um, a better player to go
Mm-hmm.
against Mike Beasley, because I was already in here like Mike Beasley on smoke Lance.
Facts. I mean, the end of the game, it ended with 31-21. Mike
Yeah,
Beasley.
he's
Um,
he's too.
he does too much.
Yeah,
He's hard to guard.
that's a fact.
Yeah.
And again, Lance, I don't know how many pound difference also he is from Lance, because that's it has to be somewhere 30 pounds. Right. And then again, 5 inches, I think. Lance is what, 6'4"?
Yeah.
Mike is 6'8", 6'9".
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why y'all thought this would be a good matchup.
Yeah. But I do like that it brought attention to Mike Beasley. I think that this is introducing some young players and some young people to who he is and like his career. I don't think a lot of people either
Mm-hmm.
knew or they may have forgotten. And I love that he's getting that love and just the positive feedback from the tournament. Now I saw that him and Lance, they're gonna be so Mike Beasley is participating in the big three with Lance. So they're gonna be playing. I forget. I think they're going against Dwight Howard and somebody else
Okay.
in the next few weeks. I want to say maybe next week. Um, and I feel like that game, if I read and remember correctly, may be on CBS or something like that. I could be wrong. But I just like what the next chapter is doing. Again, I wasn't familiar with the next chapter, but I love this concept. I love that they're allowing previous players to get exposure and just the positive feedback and love that they should be getting because they're stars. They're real hoopers. So um they were talking about who they would like to see Mike Beasley play against next. Um I think Kyrie commented because people was like they would like to see Kyrie against him, and it's like that's not a good matchup. And then Kyrie also was like, I don't want to go against Mike Beasley.
Right. Like y'all gotta give.
Y'all got Mike Beasley.
Yeah, y'all need to go back and watch Mike Beasley. Like
Y'all got him messed up.
right. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Nobody want to play against that man.
No. So, shouts to Mike Beasley. Shouts to the next chapter. Make sure that you go watch that. Um, moving on. So there was another investigation that was requested against the Seattle Storm. Um, rumors are saying, it's not even rumors. It's alleged that somebody, a previous player, stated that she was being subjected to profanity from the Storm's assistant coaches, and it just so happened that this report came out, or rather, those allegations were said to happen when the Seattle Storm played the Vegas Aces. So we don't know who it was, but we can infer who it may have been because, again, the report says that it was a previous player, and then the timeline of it all just seems to be somebody specific. Um, long story less long. The WNBA decided not to go through with the investigation for real, even though one was requested. Um, and the WNBA followed, like I said, the WNBA followed up on the allegation that a Seattle Storm's assistant coach cursed at a Las Vegas Aces player after the team's game Sunday in Seattle. A league source with knowledge of the situation said Wednesday. However, the source said there is not an investigation into the Storm. I saw people talking about that also on the timeline because I wasn't aware of that, but I'm gonna just leave it as is because again, I don't know if people are picking up what I'm putting down. Who it could be inferred who you know. Yeah. And
who put the request in?
come on. So T's and P's. Thoughts and prayers. I'm like, because as soon as I seen the headline, I'm like, damn, what happened in Seattle again? Because Seattle, y'all been on a tear with the investigations.
It's exhausting.
Damn. So I was alarmed. But again, the W decided not to go through with it. That's all I got. We'll see. Everybody, that's peace. Gotta move on.
That's peace.
That's peace.
Yeah, get over it and let's move on to the next chapter.
Come on. So that's all I got with that. But now we're gonna move a little bit into the business of sports. Want to give a shout out to Dawn Staley because CBS is launching WNBA Tip Off. It's going to be hosted by sports reporter Sarah Kustok, and it's going to have Renee Montgomery and then also Dawn Staley, and it's going to debut at 7:30. Well, it did already yesterday, and it's going to serve as the lead-in to the Sky's prime matchup last night against Indiana. And that was the first WNBA game ever set inside Chicago's United Center and the first ever primetime WNBA regular season game on broadcast television yesterday. I thought that was really interesting. Now, granted, they moved the game to United Center because they were assuming that Caitlin Clark would be playing, and so they would need the seating. Because it seats over, I think, like over 10,000, whereas where they currently play wouldn't fit all those people, which is fine and that makes sense. But I'm still ragging the Chicago organization because of just the lack of facilities for so many years, and then you're making these adjustments, which again further shows that viewership and numbers matter. You know, uh,
Yeah.
put them women in better facilities now.
Yeah. I mean, I have the Sky at the bottom of the league. They're at the bottom.
As far as facilities,
Yeah.
yeah,
Connecticut at the
Connecticut
bottom.
close. So
Bottom.
yeah,
hmm
um, but yeah, not to get lost on the point. Shouts to Dawn Staley. I think this is a great opportunity. I love that they're creating, more shows centered around WNBA, to build excitement, engagement online, all types of stuff. So this is a
hmm
big deal. She, her book is on its way. Um, so I love the rollout. That's all I got. With that being said, I didn't watch. I know Candace Parker was on
The
105.
Breakfast Club.
Yeah, on the Breakfast Club, and I have to go watch that. I have not. I've
hmm
seen people say it was a good interview, so I gotta check it out.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna just echo that sentiment. I have not watched it. Um, I mean, this shows you that again we're growing. They adding more shows. This is equivalent to Ion adding a pregame show.
Right.
The Ion Network adding a pregame. This is just another network adding on another show, giving more visibility to the WNBA and the voices around the WNBA. So I'm happy to see that because that just means what we doing is needed also because
Hmm.
they're looking for more voices in women's sports. So I love it. Right.
Right.
Dawn was definitely one of the first people we seen kind of playing the the balance game with coaching in the WNBA. I mean, playing in the WNBA and coaching in college. Dawn definitely was recruiting me when she was at Temple University. So like she was out here getting to it, you know? And that is something that is hard to do. You playing and, you know, coaching. Two
Yeah,
two big, you know, big task at hand. So she OG.
she is. So I'm excited for that. We are now going to move into NIL news slash sports news. If you're just now tapping in with us, make sure that you follow us on all social media platforms. We have covered, or rather, recap the WNBA games from Friday up until today. We talked a little bit about Coco and Sabalenka tennis match yesterday for the French Open with Coco winning. We talked about, Lance Stevenson versus Mike Beasley. Um, we spoke a little bit about the business of sports now as well. So this is where we're going to transition into college news slash NIL. So
Mm-hmm.
just jumping into it, let's just talk about it. So the House versus NCAA settlement has happened. This is something that Brittany and I have been talking about probably since we started our Sunday recaps, since
Yes.
the beginning. But this is something that has been discussed. If you don't know, the NCAA versus House, or rather House versus NCAA class action antitrust lawsuit was filed in 2020 by Arizona State swimmer and Sedona Prince. So remember, Sedona Prince, I forget who, because she played on so many damn teams. But Sedona Prince, she was recording while at the NCAA tournament a few years ago, and she was just showing the conditions of like how it looked for the women in comparison with to what the men were getting during the NCAA tournament. So the workout conditions was trash, the food was horrible. Um They just was getting, they weren't even getting bare minimum stuff. Like it just wasn't, the NCAA they just was missing the mark when it came to the women. And so she's one of the people that kind of pushed the envelope in filing this class action suit, where now as a result, schools are now free to begin paying their athletes directly. So this is a new era of college sports, or maybe the lack thereof. I feel like the NCAA may be over with, because at this point these student athletes are no longer just student athletes. They're not amateurs. Um,
Right.
they're not amateurs. They're professional. So this settlement was formally approved on Friday. Um, and so Judge Wilkins, who was the judge on this case, she had to make a decision while keeping in mind that, the fiscal year is scheduled to start July 1st. So now that this settlement has been approved, basically these student athletes are going to start getting money on July 1st.
Mm.
So while college sports leaders have been making tentative plans for a major shift in how they do business, the tight turnaround time means schools and conferences will have to hustle to establish the infrastructure needed to enforce their new rules. The NCAA will pay nearly $2.8 billion in back damages over the next 10 years to athletes who competed in college at any time from 2016 through present day. $2.8 billion. $2.8 billion. So we're getting into revenue sharing, essentially. The schools are now going to have to come up with structures to make sure that student athletes can participate in revenue sharing, which makes sense, right? Like, student athletes bring in mad bread to universities and college throughout the country, the entire country. And at one point, like Brittany mentioned earlier in this, in our pod, in our introduction, we as student athletes couldn't participate in it. You had to be happy with it, getting your scholarship and a free education and then moving on. While universities would be able to use your name, image, and likeness on commercials, on photos. I mean, Brittany's photo is still in
At
New
the,
Jersey.
it's still at
And
the Applebee's in New Jersey.
yeah, and she's not getting paid for it. They didn't ask for her permission. So that's just an example. So now the game has changed, and yeah, the NCAA is going to have to pay $2.8 billion back in damages. Again, moving forward, each school can pay its athletes up to a certain limit. The annual cap is expected to start at roughly $20.5 million per school in
Mm-hmm.
2025 and increase every year during the decade-long deal. So the $20.5 million that I just mentioned, that's the cap on the revenue sharing that's going to happen between the school and the student athletes of said school. The cap amount that the schools can pay the student athletes is $20.5 billion,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, $1 million a year. And that's going to keep increasing every year for the next 10 years. These new payments are in addition to scholarships and other benefits the athletes already receive. The new revenue sharing cap, like I said, will increase each year, but at 4%. And how schools plan to divvy up the $20.5 million among their sports has been a point of contention with no legal framework to follow. Most schools are expected to mirror the payback formula outlined in the $2.8 billion settlement, which means that roughly 75% of future revenue will be shared with football players, 15% to men's basketball, 5% to women's basketball, and 5% to all remaining sports.
Whoa.
Yeah. Majority of the power will be going to football. Salary caps and free agency restrictions in professional sports are legal because they are negotiated as part of a collective bargaining agreement with the union. Um, I feel like throughout the course of this actual weekly recap, Brittany and I have talked about instances where student athletes wanted to be viewed as employees. They joined unions or created unions. So the shift, like I said, is happening, and this benchmarks case is tipping in those waters. So sports leaders say many schools won't be able to afford to fund their teams if players are deemed to be employees and allowed to unionize. They just wouldn't be able to afford them. Um, So the settlement gives the schools power to create new rules designed to limit the influence of boosters and collectives. Starting this summer, any endorsement deal between a booster and an athlete will be vetted to ensure that it is a valid business purpose rather than a recruiting incentive. So that
Mm.
whole pay for play stuff is coming back, right? Um, Many sources in the college sports industry have doubts about whether the limit on booster spending aimed at protecting competitive balance will be effective in slowing the rapid increase in money flowing to athletes at the NCAA's richest schools. Brittany and I reported last week that the power conferences are launching a new enforcement organization by the name of the College Sports Commission. And come to find out, this past Friday, they actually announced the CEO, which his name is Brian Seeley. And his job as the CEO of the College Sports Commission is to build out the organization's investigative and enforcement teams and oversee all of its ongoing operations and stakeholder relationships. Schools are expected to pay Deloitte, because we also talked about how Deloitte is going to be helping in this transition of like having some type of like guardrails with NIL. Schools are
Mm-hmm.
going to have to pay Deloitte anywhere from 5,000 to as much as 500,000 for the software, Brittany. Software for the software. Um,
Yes.
so long story less long. As a recap, there was a case, House versus NCAA. As of recent, this past week, they have settled. The NCAA and student athletes and they have settled for $2.8 billion. That $2.8 billion will be provided to the student athletes throughout the course of 10 years.
Mm.
Also, student athletes now will be able to participate in revenue sharing with the school. So when money comes in for sports,
You'll get a piece.
you get a piece. That is a summary of what I just said. The game has changed. The NCAA, I don't know if it the NCAA if is it done? Y'all don't hold much weight
Right. Right.
anymore. Like this it's the dismantling of college sports is happening. It's now a very thin line between professionalism and amateurism.
Facts. I'm still mad this only go back to 2016.
I mean, I still think y'all should, like the Reggie Bushes, which I think he filed. I feel like we talked about Reggie Bushin. I said Bushin. Reggie Bush filing.
There's a couple of Terrell Pryor from
Yeah,
Ohio
it's
State.
a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get bread because of what's
Yeah.
happening now.
What's his name from Villanova? I seen he filed Chris Jenkins, the guy, the kid that hit the shot to help Villanova
Mm-hmm.
win. He said that y'all restricted and limited me from making money during
Yeah.
the height of my career in college, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I hit the game winning shot to win the NCAA tournament, and I could not capitalize and monetize nothing off of that. That's insane.
It is
So
insane.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
you can do it. It's available. But the
Wow.
dismantling of the NCAA, we here. It's something we've been talking about for a long time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's very fascinating that we are here. Still a lot of regulation that's probably going to come into play because the NIL space is still the Wild Wild West. It very much is still, and the lines are very much blurred, and we're seeing changes in real time. So we don't know how this is going to end. Um, but this is a big win for the student athlete. with revenue sharing. This is amazing. And with that, I don't know how many schools are gonna struggle to get this money.
Right. Right.
I don't know.
That's where private equity and all that stuff comes in. Like these
Yep.
billionaires, they're gonna be coming in to looking, and that's where we talking about ownership of the teams, and
Yes.
it's about to be
That
again.
revenue sharing gonna kick their ass. It's
Wow,
gonna
wow, West.
it's gonna kick a
Mm-hmm.
lot of schools' ass. I'm gonna be honest.
Facts.
So that's the update. We'll keep y'all posted about that. Najari Canady. Listen, I didn't watch it. I didn't catch it.
Mm-hmm.
I went based off what you told me, what a handful of other people told me. But we want to congratulate this young lady. We spoke about her a week or two ago, and just or maybe actually longer than that. We spoke about her a few months ago, then brought her back up again because we got more
Mm-hmm.
details, behind her first 7-figure deal, and how they came up with the calculations as to how much they gave her. Um, just learning more also about her personally, and why she chose to transfer from Stanford to Texas Tech. Um, but they were afraid. Texas Tech was afraid that she was going to enter the transfer portal. Point blank, period. They were like, we didn't know if she was going to stay because, her name continues to just get bigger. And we basically had to make sure
Mm-hmm.
she stays. So they signed her to another 7-figure deal.
Yeah.
And her manager is like, there was no doubt that she wasn't going to stay at Texas Tech. Because she liked the culture of Texas Tech. But I love how they're securing their investment. That's what you do. That's what you
Right.
do.
That's a fact. We not gonna play. We not gonna play. And shout out to just the Women's College World Series. That was lit in itself. Um, Unfortunately, Canady they lost to Texas, and let me just say, Texas, Mia Scott. I gotta just shout her out. I gotta shout out Mia Scott on Texas, number 10 on Texas, because baby, we were just talking about Courtney Vandersloot tearing her ACL, right? This young lady, see, I don't know what the severity of her ACL tear was, but still, she was playing in the World College Series with a torn ACL and being a significant piece of why they won as well. Okay, old girl hit a grand slam in the last game, in game 3, knocked it out the park, and I think after that it was over. Okay, so shout out to Mia Scott on Texas, because playing with a torn ACL is insane. Like, playing injured at all is really insane. But we do it as athletes because we're so competitive, and unless my leg is hanging by a thread, I'm playing. This is for all the marbles, right? This is national championship for me. This is national championship in softball, basically. She like, ain't no way.
Ain't no way I'm not playing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no
Straight
way.
So, shouts to
Okay.
Texas.
They got it done, but Texas Tech is coming back next year. Okay.
Yeah.
They coming back. I just found out that they also signing an all-American catcher. She coming over to Texas Tech to team up with Canady here.
They
And
building.
she was this young lady by the name of Jasmine Burns earned Big Ten All Freshman Team nod last year at Ohio State. So she coming from the Big Ten to play with old girl. She said, "Yeah, I'm the missing piece you need to get it over the hump." Okay. And then also too, one of the reasons why I learned why Canady came to Texas, I gotta learn more rules. But it's because she wanted to hit the ball also. Like she wanted to be a batter.
Yeah.
And at Stanford she couldn't do that for some reason. I
And
guess
I don't know. Yeah, I
I
read that
don't
too. But I don't.
I don't know why that is the case. Like it's kind of like in I feel like in baseball, my dad got to explain it to me, but like the National League and then the American League, one of those leagues, the pitchers actually hit. But in one of the other, like, the pitchers get a chance to hit the ball. I forget. I don't know. My dad might have to come on and explain it, but I guess that's the same thing here with them. Some conferences you could do it, other conferences you can't. I don't know, but is she out here like Otani being the pitcher that can also hit? That's a crazy skill set to have. Okay, because that's hard, very hard.
Yes.
But yeah, old girl, they secured her with another bag. They said,
Mm-hmm.
"Here you go, here you go." Okay.
Love that.
I would like to know what these student athletes are doing with their money. Like, I would really like a breakdown. I know it's frowned upon looking at pockets, but I want to know what they're doing with their money.
Pocket watching.
Yeah,
We pocket watching for the right reasons, though.
right, right. Because I want to see that 2 milli grow into 15 milli. Like,
And I'm sure it will, even outside of this deal, because of her name. It's gonna continue to grow. The
mm-hmm.
endorsements are coming. So we love to see it, and she's
Fact,
growing it. She's growing the sport.
facts.
She's the only one with a 7-figure deal right now. I think she was the first. Now the second.
Mm-hmm.
Um, national allows pitchers to
See,
hit.
yep. That's what I was talking about. National.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you, Mr. S.E. Bread.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But shouts to her. Congratulations. We got some whack news about a 16-year-old sophomore in
Oh yeah.
California who um she's a track and field star. And she finished the 400-meter finals in 28 seconds, and she beat everybody, but the California Interscholastic Federation actually disqualified her after the win because of how she decided to celebrate. Um, so after she won her race, she sprayed her cleats, implying that basically her feet were on fire from moving so fast. Like my
From
feet, I got hot feet
Dustin,
because
yeah.
I dusted. Yeah, I smoked y'all. So
Yeah.
let me get this extinguisher and put the flames out. And the California Interscholastic Federation, they didn't like that. So they, like I said, they disqualified her from both the 400-meter finals and the 200-meter finals because they said it was unsportsmanlike. And Clara Adams told the LA Times that she felt like she was robbed. And her father said that the ruling of the unsportsmanlike conduct against his daughter was really nasty. Basically, like it's hate, like that's foul.
Mm-hmm.
And um so the California Interscholastic Federation actually pointed to part of their conduct rules, which basically says that unsportsmanlike conduct can include disrespectfully addressing an official, any flagrant behavior, intentional contact, taunting, criticizing, or using profanity directed towards someone. Um, and her father said that the rule was cited as a gray area that the federation was using to justify the decision. And after watching the video of her talking, like Clara talking, she was crying. She's like, she
Mm-hmm.
feels horrible. She doesn't know what to do. And I feel terrible for her. Like, why? Like, that's hate.
It
She's
is.
celebrating after a win. We've seen countless athletes in all sports celebrate after a win. And moreover, what I did learn was that her her decision in celebrating the way that she did was she was giving homage to a previous track and field star. So there was intention behind it. She wasn't just doing it to do it. She was also paying homage to a previous player
Right.
or track star that did the same thing. Um, but this is nasty to me.
Yeah, I mean, what happens when you're a sore loser and you can affect the outcome of the game or the outcome of whatever happens? This is sore loser behavior. They deserve a nasty award.
Yeah.
They
The
deserve a
Federation,
yeah.
California Interscholastic Federation,
Mhm.
find something else to do. I
Right.
know that there's other things that you should be probably looking into and investigating in California
Jesus.
than, stripping this young woman, of her wins. That's whack.
Crazy.
Um, but
Crazy.
we just wanted to highlight this was happening. Because this is really unfortunate. So I hope that we get some more information about this, and I hope that the federation reverses reverses this. They decide to do that. um, we're gonna talk a little bit about GMs in college. I mean, I feel like Brittany and I have talked about this countless times. Like, I think one of the first colleges to have a GM was Duke, because I remember we covered that. I
Correct.
forget her name, and she's a
Hold
she's a
on.
woman.
Yeah, let me go back and see
Yeah,
because
she's a woman. But she was one of the first GMs in the NIL era, and I feel like they hired her back in maybe 2021, 2022, or something like that. Um,
hmm
and since then, we've slowly have seen colleges hire GMs. We got
Rachel.
Woj.
Her name is Rachel Baker.
Thank you. Yeah. So she's the GM at Duke. We reported a few months ago about Woj.
Yeah.
Woj is the GM at Bonaventure. Um, you got Steph Curry now. You got Trey Young coming in, and
hmm
it's just a lot more conversation about GMs. Some schools want well-known GMs to bring notoriety and money in. Others want GMs really to help create infrastructure around NIL deals.
Facts.
So, and I feel like you mentioned this one of the recent times that we hopped on for the weekly recap. We're just going to continue to see an influx of GMs arising. I think we reported Shaq. I forget where Shaq is at. He's a GM at. With the new revenue sharing model, or not model, but with this.
Sacramento State.
Thank you. With this new revenue sharing, and then also, yeah, with the settlement being reported, these schools are going to have to find a way to not only bring money into their programs, but then also have somebody there to create infrastructures that are going to, SOPs and things like that around NIL. Like, how are y'all going to tackle how are y'all going to tackle these things now?
Right.
And y'all need somebody to be the face of that. And so again, just wanted to harp on the fact that this is a big deal, and more schools are going to continue to hire GMs.
Facts. This is a trend that is not going anywhere. It's only like going. It's on the uptick. To be quite honest, we just seen that um, Rutgers chief of staff is now the general manager at Virginia Tech, Stephen Fischler. So shout out to Stephen for becoming the Virginia Tech general manager for women's basketball. Like that just happened last week. So like looking at this, we're at about 13 right now. Adding Steven, that'll be 14. We got Rachel Baker at Duke. Daniel Marks, who's at Howard University, Baker Dunleavy at Villanova University, Kellen Buffington at Texas Tech, men's basketball, Alex Klein, Syracuse University, Tony Bollier, Butler University. We mentioned Shaq at Sacramento State, Steph Curry at Davidson, Trae Young at Oklahoma. Andrew Luck is at Stanford University, football general manager. Woj St. Bonaventure. Okay, so that's just since 2022. And we're in 2025. So the list is at about 15 right now. And yes, he did. Steven did leave Rutgers University. Sad day, sad thing too. My former coach, Coach Pointer, is also not returning to the Rutgers staff next year. So I kind of feel like Coach P was like the last link to CBS in her era. So we now have no one on the coaching staff that used to be a former player for Coach Stringer there anymore. So yeah, that was tough to see. But this is the business of sports. Things are always constantly shifting and moving, and you gotta be adaptable. So we're gonna see more. But yeah, they get a nasty award for that. It's terrible.
Absolutely. Um, but yeah, we'll keep y'all posted about that. And then I just got put on to Brianna Daniels from Norfolk State. She became the first Black woman hired as a member of a NASCAR pit crew. That is fire.
Yeah.
That is dope. Um, in the article, she talks a little bit about how she actually played basketball on at Norfolk State um, until one day in 2016, NASCAR held a tryout on campus, and she didn't even know a pit crew existed.
Hmm.
Um, and basically, there's not a lot of Black women in the sport, and she is considered a trailblazer of it. And
Of course she is.
she talked about just some of the battles and the difficult journey that she has endured in entering into this space as a Black woman. Um, but I think this is so dope that she was to go from basketball to NASCAR. The possibilities are endless. I think that that's a dope transition. And it just shows like you can do whatever you want to do if you are intrigued and curious and want to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I just wanted to highlight this because I had no clue. I had no clue about her. Um, but this is amazing. Like,
I didn't either. And this is also too, I like NASCAR intrigues me because I know nothing about NASCAR.
mm-hmm,
Um, but because I seen this, I also seen that there's a former NFL player who's also a part of the one of the pit crews. So that's interesting that you can make that transition as an athlete
mm-hmm,
to the to being a crew member. I would love to know more in depth about like what the role entails and like, because I know it's like split second, like it's
right.
they come into the thing and it's shoom 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 shoom. Everybody's doing what they got to do and then they leave the pit again. So like,
Mm-hmm.
what are y'all doing? Like, I know y'all changing the tire, but like, it's changing a tire on steroids.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's very like high
Intense.
intense, like high intensity energy. So
Mm-hmm.
just wondering from her perspective, like what that feels like to be in that atmosphere. And to be a part of a crew. Like, how do y'all win? Like, how do y'all know y'all winning? Like, with lap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so yeah, very interesting shift, very interesting career change. And like you said, that just shows that you can really find anything and do anything and kind of
Mm-hmm.
thrive at it. So shout
Deborah
out.
said it too. She said, "I thought you had to be some sort of mechanic to be on the pit crew." Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know, and I think this is what you're right. I assume that too. I gotta do some more research. I would. I gotta read more on her to like really learn more about the transition, like
Yeah.
from basketball into that. But
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought the same thing. I
Facts.
would have thought the same thing. Um, and maybe she has some background in that, and just this article didn't go into it. I don't know. I'm gonna dive deeper into who she is though, because I just think this is really cool.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, facts. Delete. Delete. Where we at? All right, moving along. Where are we at on we're in that was the end of
NIL.
NIL. We have now shifted over into culture, y'all. Again, make sure y'all following us on all social media platforms. Woo! Hour and 47 minutes. Wow. The time just be flying. It be
Too.
flying, okay? Thank y'all for tapping in and staying with us. 82 people here. Fire. Thank you. Timbo. Timbo. What were you thinking? What were you thinking? First and foremost, let's bring up what happened with the last AI rapper. Okay? We're gonna go back to FN Mecca. Okay, remember that, Chantee? FN Mecca? Everybody was tight. Okay? We got all these rappers out here, and y'all decide to create an artificial intelligence artist.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I can't really say what I want to say.
What you want to say?
Get the out of here.
Oh yeah,
Okay?
I mean his colleagues basically said that.
Timberland, what are you doing, my brother?
I mean, the article talks about Timberland hosting those lives on Instagram.
Yeah,
He
he was
had artists
collecting
coming up
data.
there, like how listening to what they had, talking about he gonna work with them, and you know what? Maybe he did, and maybe he is working with them.
No,
But
this is always the okie doke though. Okay, they do this and then we hear. Okay, yes, of course you're gonna see a lot of backlash and criticism.
the artist name is Tata. The
Yeah,
AI artist, because she ain't real, but she a digital performer, and he said that he's not just producing tracks anymore. He's producing systems, stories, and stars from scratch. And Tata is not an avatar. She is not a character. Then what is she?
she is though. She is.
Because I'm like, when I read that, I'm like, okay, so what is she?
She is a character because she's a
And she's an
robot.
avatar. She's not real. And I want to know what are y'all using to create her voice, her
Right,
sound,
right,
because it has to come from something.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. So
Who's inputting the data into her algorithms? The
yeah,
machine
music
learning of
sim. I
yeah.
like that, Deborah. She said a music sim. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All y'all simps in the music industry is really insane. Timberland, how could you do something like this? I understand y'all want to do like integrate innovative technologies into, you know, and be adaptive and get along with the times, but you already seen what happened with the previous situation, and then for him to like, this is just suspicious because it just looks like you were using the you were using the lives
The
as
people on the
basically
lives and
as
they music.
data collection. You were using that and collected the data and then used that to train your AI model. Tata.
Boom. Boom.
Like what? What? Y'all are grossly disconnected, and it's really insane.
You
It's
got
really
artists coming at him. Like they like people we know, not personally, but like Young Guru, who's an engineer, lifelong engineer for Jay-Z, was like, what essentially like, nah, dog, this ain't it. Like, I don't approve of this. A bunch of artists was like, why not just sign an artist? Why not sign one of the artists that you had on your live? Why not work? You know what I mean? Like,
this is what I'm saying.
I don't know. Maybe I
You
don't know.
you had all those real people come on that live, and then you chose to make a robot with the real people's information and data.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, 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 allegedly. Okay, let me just say that. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's insane. I hope Missy said something to you, Timberland. I hope Missy says something.
I hope Mrs. says something to
And
you.
knock some sense back into you. That
I don't know. We'll see how. I don't know. I
if
mean, with
you're
him being
familiar
a
with the way
producer, it
get
would be cool for him to create. I mean, this is like free game, I guess. Whatever.
if you're familiar with the
But
way
like,
get
since you're already a producer, why not? Maybe create systems to, or with AI to help artists that can't necessarily afford
this is
certain
what I'm
instruments time in the
saying.
studio to
Right.
create at a higher level. I think that's something you know
Yeah.
that
Create
could be helpful.
come on, create something like how Kanye created the little player. Like he created that
Oh
little
yeah,
player,
forgot about
like
that.
create something
That's
that
gonna
can
help
that's gonna
and
help
influence,
them. Yes,
inspire, help.
right.
But Tata, I don't know. We'll have to hear what songs Tata. I don't know.
Tata's a flop. That's what I'm gonna tell you right now. Tata's a flop. A flop. I don't want to hear no
Uh,
Tata. Out of here. Not,
yeah. So damn Timberland. That's all I got. Damn Timberland.
yeah,
A
that's
lot
it.
of people was in his comments lighting him up.
Done. Done Dillsky.
Um, and then we're gonna turn into culture news. Sports bra. I don't know if y'all heard of sports bra. They dope. Oh wait, spin dot. We're at a time when robot really does become the answer for many things, but be mindful when you plug in the industry and the impact. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. We're not gonna fault you for using AI because everybody done open up
Mm-mm.
Chat GPT. Everybody done use Chat GPT for something. Okay. We done use AI for something. Right? Huh? Hold on, you on mute.
Oh, Google too. Like if you Google something,
Yeah. Come
you've
on.
used
We
yeah.
like
So use it for
be
good.
yeah, just be responsible in how you use it. That's really
Yeah.
what we trying to say. Like, just be responsible. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. The sports bra. Sports bar.
Yeah, I think it's fire. But they're expanding. So, that's the nation's so Sports Bra is the nation's first sports bar dedicated to women's sports. Definitely follow them on Instagram. They're cool. I think
Fact,
the concept they came up with years ago has been fire, and I think they did it at the right time.
facts.
So they're expanding to Boston, Indianapolis, Las Vegas, and St. Louis. They need to come on to New York. That'll be fire. So the original sports bra was open in Portland, Oregon, back in April 2022. Um, and the brainchild of the entrepreneur who created it was this is a brainchild of entrepreneur Jenny Nugan, who wanted to create a space that celebrated women and girls in sports, which was very timely. Um, and she says the first four franchises of the sports bra will join our OG Portland location to become the starting five. Together, we're serving fans nationwide who are hungry for spaces that not only champion women's sports, but create a community where everyone feels like they belong. There is no better moment than this to open these places.
Look, she capitalized on something when there was a void. Okay, just like Chantee said, this is an instance. Like if perfect timing was a thing, this is it. Like perfect timing to open up a business dedicated to women's sports.
You
Right?
know how many times? Because when we go out, you know how many times until like a little bit as of late,
Right,
like you'll
right.
go to a sports bar or you'll go
Mm-hmm.
to eat, and the games will be on, but they only have football,
Mm-hmm.
NBA. They only
Facts.
showing men's sports. You
Facts.
gotta go ask a waiter, and they may not even get to it. Like to
Mm-hmm.
turn to a women's basketball game.
That's a
So
fact.
to have a sports bar dedicated to that.
Facts. Like this just happened to me in January when I went to Pittsburgh and I was trying to watch Unrivaled. I was trying to watch Unrivaled and went to a restaurant. They had football on. I'm like, oh no. But ever so kindly asked them to change the channel. And what do you know? They did. They had no problem changing one of the TVs to the Unrivaled game. So like to be able to step into an establishment and women's sports is on already, no matter what, that's different. So I, because usually we're an afterthought. So she,
Yes.
she, 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 she running with something, right? And yes, that is a brilliant name, the Sports Bra, like fire. Okay,
Yeah. The board just said the same thing. She's like, "Can y'all please like come to we need one in New York."
right. We was saying the same thing. Y'all got what the other one is in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Come
Oh, I tagged the wrong sports bar. Hold on.
on, y'all. Come on. We need one
I'm
in
a
New York.
tag. Hold on.
So we could do a collab. Stop playing.
Yeah, I tagged the wrong sports bar in the comments. My bad, y'all. I'm about to find it.
It's all right. But
Yeah, but still,
yeah, y'all.
influencing.
That's the end of our show today. I guess
Mm-hmm.
the last thing I wanted to say, encouraging everyone to get to a farmers market this farmers market season. We are here. Y'all know I am a chef and I'm in the kitchen. I'm a health coach, always supporting and promoting healthier habits.
Mm-hmm.
It is the summer. People are pulling up with their produce to the farmers markets. It's actually cheaper to go to the farmers market and get produce there. Prices $2 a pound. I mean, it doesn't get better. You get a chance to interact with the farmers directly who are actually growing your food. So hit up a farmers market in your area. I mean, I'm upstate in Sullivan County, so I'm gonna get a chance to go to the Rock Hill Farmers Market. I'm going to the Middletown Farmers Market. I'm going to the Liberty Farmers Market. Y'all gonna see me everywhere. So um, if you're interested in following me in my journey, farmers market season, follow me on Smiling Bellies.
Um,
Um, so I'll be over there. But
Jody. Oh, sorry. Jody also said she went foraging today in the Bronx and free herbs on the Bronx River Foodway.
Look at that.
And Bronx Eats gives out free produce at the Bronx Vegan Bazaar. Thank you, Jody.
Fire, fire.
Wait,
Yes.
Deborah, I didn't see what you said because I went out. So if you could retype what you said so I can see it.
Hold on, I see it. It says my
Yeah,
company just hosted an in-house free farmers market for us last week in one of the showrooms. That's fire.
that is dope. That's dope.
Wow. Yes. Yes. Get your asses to a farmers market this year.
Support.
I'm gonna start cursing at y'all. Come on. Yes, join a CSA, a community supported agriculture. That's what that means. Community supported agriculture. You pay a lump sum upfront for a certain amount of weeks, and for those certain amount of weeks, you get a box of produce every week. Okay, it is worth it. Okay, I used to do it, and I'm looking to do it again. The community garden that I have in my community, they temporarily shut down right now, so I am looking for another one to join. So yeah, go get them CSAs. Go support a community garden if you do have any community gardens in your area, because we need to be getting back into nature. We always on our phones. It's always digital this, digital that. Let's go back to the analog. Get into the put the phones down, disconnect, unplug. I've been making it a habit of myself when I go out for a walk to try to keep my phone in the house and try not to be engaged on the screens. The screens are killing us, okay? They are messing up our circadian rhythms. Get the phone out your room when you're sleeping at night. I also encourage people to take the TVs out of their rooms. Take the TVs. The EMFs are killing your melatonin. It's killing your ability to make the go to sleep hormones at night, right? Cortisol high, and everybody's stressed out. So them TVs, they play a part in that also. So if you can get that out of your room and get you some blackout curtains to keep that room dark, I'm encouraging it. That helps you sleep as well. Okay? But thank y'all. As always, that wraps up episode 97. This might be our longest one yet, Chantee. Up there with one of our longest ones.
Yeah, for sure. But we appreciate y'all for tapping in with us and staying with us throughout the course of this episode. Make
Facts.
sure that you follow us on all social media platforms like Brittany has on the screen. Make sure that you follow us personally on social media platforms. Make sure that you follow the 9450, where we also podcast every week about the business of sports. It's called Beyond the 9450. We do thank you, Jody, for tapping in. Thank you, Deborah, for tapping in. And Jody said we need to celebrate 100. Yes, we're gonna find a cool way to celebrate 100.
Yes.
So we really are appreciative of just y'all tapping in with us for all these episodes. We hope everybody has a great week. Keep cool. It is starting to get hot out. Drink a lot of water.
Yes. Water,
Hydrate.
coconut water. Yeah, making sure you keeping fruits on you, making sure you keeping the citrus. So yeah, get to Juices for Life. Get to the local juice spot. Support your
Yes.
local establishments. All right. Also too, we have a newsletter that's monthly. So you hop on our Instagram and our bios. You can go up there, sign up for that as well. So thank y'all. We'll see y'all again very soon.
Peace.
Peace.